Hello everyone, nice to see you again. Welcome back to Pacific Front channel. Continuing our discussion about the MEF program and modernization plan beyond 2024, it seems incomplete if we don't talk about Indonesia's plan to move its capital city. Because whether we realize it or not, the future development of the defense posture must take into account the new capital city as the #1 priority asset that must be defended at all costs. So today, let's discuss it a little bit. Why does Indonesia want to move its capital? What challenges and threats will the new capital encounter? And what will it take to defend Indonesia's new capital city? First, let's get to know Indonesia's current capital, Jakarta. Founded by the Dutch in 1619, Jakarta, formerly known as Batavia, was the center of the Dutch East Indies trading network in Asia, which led to the establishment of the Dutch colony. From its founding, Batavia was planned in a well-defined layout. Canals were built, buildings and streets are pleasantly designed, a perfect city to live. But that's 100 years ago. Today, Jakarta has a lot of problems. First, Jakarta's population is overcrowded, which has the implication of causing a variety of derivative problems, including severe traffic congestion, as well as air and water pollution. This is worsened by the fact that Java, and especially Jakarta, are experiencing a severe clean water crisis. Second, there is one chronic problem in Jakarta that until now has not been able to be overcome. Every rainy season, Jakarta is always hit by floods, which paralyze all activities, ranging from schools, offices, to government activities. Lastly, Jakarta is sinking, and it's sinking fast. The cause is not only because the rising sea levels due to climate change. Its cause is also because most of its population uses ground pumping as their water source. And because the underground water is removed uncontrollably, the soil above continues to compact and sink. With Jakarta's status as a megapolitan city with dozens of tall buildings, adding more weight and pressure onto the soil below makes the condition even worse. According to some studies, Jakarta is sinking by about 1 cm a year, with some areas suffering up to 10 to 12 cm a year. There was a plan to save Jakarta from sinking by building a giant seawall in North Jakarta. But it won't save many other problems that Jakarta is currently having. So in 2019, the Indonesian president decided to move the capital instead. The new capital city, named Nusantara, is planned to overcome Jakarta's problem. It's not only built as a new symbol of national identity, but also as a catalyst to unlock Indonesia's economic potential as a whole, create new jobs, and become the epicenter of growth that will be more evenly distributed to regions outside Java. Located in Penajam Pasar Utara in East Borneo, Nusantara will be built with smart city concept, which include green economy, green energy, smart transportation, integrated information system, and many others. Although building a new planned capital can mitigate the problems that the current one has, it doesn't mean that Nusantara doesn't have its own challenges and threats. I identify 3 main threats that Jakarta doesn't have, but can potentially happen in the new capital city. The first one is land invasion. As we all know, Borneo Island is shared by 3 countries, and Indonesia shares 2,000 km of land border with Malaysia in the north. Even though we have a friendly relationship with Malaysia, and I also consider them as brothers, it doesn't mean that we can simply rely on the existing defense strength. Second is sea invasion. Unlike Jakarta, which is located in the interior of Java Sea, Penajam Pasar Utara is located next to Makassar Strait, which is also one of Indonesia's sea lane of communication called Alki-2, an international shipping route where all kinds of vessels from commercial to naval forces can sail freely through. And the last one is cyber attacks. Nusantara as a smart city will be highly dependent on digital infrastructure to support its daily operation. Looking back at the recent leaks of data on some government agencies by hackers, and the best thing the government can do is to blame each other, I hope Indonesia's new capital is ready for cyber warfare. So what will it take to defend Indonesia's new capital, Nusantara? To do this, I think it's better to divide it based on each military branch. My list in this video is not perfect, and I only mention the general matters, so feel free to add more things that we should be preparing in the comment section below. Starting from the land forces, the most obvious action for the army is to station more troops in the vicinity of the new capital city. Currently, Borneo Island is defended by two division-sized Regional Military Command or Kodam spread across 5 provinces. Soon, when the capital is moved and Borneo becomes the most important island, this strength is clearly not enough. The Armed Forces Commander himself actually mentioned this in an interview, saying that the army needs 50,000 personnel to create a new Kodam to defend Nusantara. But as we already learned in my Kodam video, their equipment is mostly outdated, without MBTs, without airborne assets, and without modern air defense. Whilst those assets can only be found in the Army Strategic Command or Kostrad and the Army Aviation Center, which are all based in Java. In my opinion, we need at least one more Combined Arms Division beside of the new Kodam, composed of MBT, modern IFV, artillery, attack helicopter, and utility helicopter permanently stationed in Borneo. Moving on to the Air Force, currently they have 2 fighter squadrons close to the new capital. The first one is the 11 Air Squadron who operate a mix of Su-27 and 30 located in Makassar, South Sulawesi. And the second one is the 1st Air Squadron in Pontianak, West Borneo who operate Hawks 100 and 200. However, both squadrons still have a distance of more than 500 km from the new capital, so they require drop tanks or aerial refueling assets if they want to extend their combat range. Additionally, our fighter aircraft are not in a prime condition anymore. The Hawks are quite old and must be retired soon. And as long as there's Katsa and the war in Ukraine, the Sukhoi will never be at 100% readiness level. New fighter squadron between Pontianak and Makassar might be necessary. And hopefully, the replacement for both fighters can be decided soon. I also haven't heard any plans to add more NASAMS air defense system. As a capital city located close to another country's border and international shipping route, Nusantara must be defended by a layered air defense system that can counter any threats from drones, aircraft, to ICBM. Lastly, how about the Navy? The capital city will be in the area of responsibility of the 2nd Fleet Command. There, they have 2 main naval bases in the eastern coast of Borneo and the western coast of Sulawesi, along with several smaller naval bases facing the international shipping route, the Alki-2. In terms of bases, I see no problem here. However, as we discussed over and over again, most of the Navy fleet are aging, while most of the newer vessels commissioned by the Navy are just fast attack craft and support vessels with limited firepower. I'm sure when the new frigates are complete and in service, the Navy will assign them to this area, but it will take time. Moreover, the Navy still don't have a coastal missile defense system and doesn't have a measure to protect its naval port and civil harbor. Both are crucial components to protect the new capital. Without it, hostile vessels can launch attack from the international shipping route unopposed, and terrorist group can infiltrate the harbor to launch a terror attack. On top of that, constant maritime surveillance from airborne assets like the P-8 or long-endurance surveillance drone is necessary. The cost to realize this defense posture for the new capital is certainly huge, and surely it cannot be achieved with the current defense budget. However, I do hope that some of the defense components can be carried by the government as part of the budget for the construction of the new capital, not using the Ministry of Defense budget. That's it for today. What it will take to defend Indonesia's new capital city. What else would you like to add to this list? Share with us in the comment section below. And if you are confused about Kodam, Kostrad, Koarmada, and such thing, you can learn more by watching my military organization playlist. Thank you for watching everyone. I'll see you in the next one.